Donovan Starr has committed to the Auburn Tigers, and Hugh Freeze and company are red hot on the recruiting trail. Let's talk about it on this live edition of the Uptempo podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Let's go, Up-Tempo gang, Auburn family. I hope everybody's having a good night. Blake, Lane, Dustin Smith back with you guys. Blake, it's been a good day on the plains, baby. I was just hanging out at the house, got a little update on the phone, said, whoa, okay, look at this, man, adding to the class. This gives us something to talk about tonight. Definitely fired up for the big edition, man. But before we get into it, how are you tonight, my guy?
I'm doing well. Sorry about the cancellation Tuesday night. Had some stuff come up with my job and just couldn't make it happen. And so we're here tonight. And look, Hugh Freeze and this staff, they're knocking it out of the park, Dustin. I was excited. I got the notification while I was at work, and look, they're killing it. They're killing it. They're hot. It looks like they're the hottest team in the state of Alabama right now. So that's got to make you feel good. You know, I got to give all the praise to the staff. Like we always say, Charles Kelly, Crime Dog, two of the best in the game. I think you see Mr. Starr's words on Crime Dog and what he had to say about him. That speaks volumes to it speaks volumes to this coaching staff and how they feel about these kids and the connection they make with these kids. So I'm excited. I'm glad to be here tonight. And look, chat's already popping, Dustin. I feel like these folks are in here every single time we go live, and they're showing the love, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our members are always in here. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Brett is here. Auburn Dad is here. Daniel is always in the building. Our guy Tim the Toolman Taylor, Chris. And Chris, I got to give a special shout out to you. And I want to ask everybody to do something that my guy Chris does every single episode. Share this link, baby. Share this link. I know it's the off season, and when in season, you guys are real great about sharing that link. And we love you guys. Appreciate you watching. But the social media, the shares of the episodes lately have been going down and down and down. So my challenge tonight is to get that thing up. And hey, we got a new commitment today, Blake, which means tomorrow I'm off, and we're going to watch some film and talk about it. Some stuff happened last weekend that we're going to talk about. So another challenge I'm going to issue tonight, real simple. Let's y'all get together and let's reward 5 memberships tonight. Let's let 5 people watching this episode tonight become members of the Up-Tempo family, man. I know you guys will come through and help us out with that. Love and appreciate all of y'all for being here with us. But y'all want to talk some football, man. Y'all want to talk about the third defensive back to join the class out of Tennessee, our guy Donovan. And Blake, me and you were watching some of his tape before we got on here, and you were talking about just the athleticism, the high jump, finished first in the state. You were telling me high jump in Tennessee, really an athletic kid, huh, man?
Yeah, and he also was a state champion in the 100-meter in the state of Tennessee. So very athletic, great ball skills, in and out of breaks, just a playmaker, man. The PBUs jumped off the film.
Yeah,
look, he can go up and get it. He's a ball hawk. I like this kid. I think he's going to be a heck of a player. I think the potential's there. I think that's why Crime Dog was really high on him. And I think one thing I was reading today that really stuck out to me that made me feel really good about the way crime works is Donovan Starr was quoted saying that he was trying to set up some midweeks with other schools. And I believe this was 247 that reported this. And all the other schools were like, well, we don't know if we want to go with a midweek. We'd rather just bring you in on a weekend. And he was like, I kind of need a midweek. So he asked Crime, he said, is there any way I can come down for a midweek visit? And Crime said, absolutely. You're a priority. Key word there, folks. You are a priority. That means you are wanted. We want you in Auburn. We want you now. And he felt loved. You heard it. In the exit interview, he said, hey, I was going home with my mom and said, hey, I think this is the place. I feel at home. The people around Auburn and that coaching staff have made me feel like I want to spend the next 3 to 4 years there. And so I was impressed with the tape, man. Like I'm really, really excited about getting a kid like this on campus and what Charles Kelly and Crime can do with a guy like this. The speed is off the charts, and that's really how he grew in the recruiting ranks. Is people watched him run and they were like, "Hey, this kid can fly." Then I saw a play today. He come out of a break, man, and how fast he closed the window was insane. I mean, the speed is electric. He's that good. So, obviously you're going to have the Twitter people get on there and say, "Oh, he's a 3-star. No, he's a 4-star." Look, kid's a 4-star. He's got the potential. It's there. 5'11". Look, yeah, it's not the big physical DBs that we're kind of used to seeing in today's age of college football and professional football, but he can play. All right. He can play 175. That's going to grow when he gets to campus. There's a workout program at Auburn University. Look, Roger McCreary, he wasn't the biggest. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Dude could play. So I think Donovan Starr could end up playing the nickel. He can do it, man. He's athletic. He's a playmaker, and that's what I'm most excited about, Dustin.
Looking at the body style, Blake, he kind of right now reminds me of what Champ Anthony kind of looked like coming into Auburn,
Okay.
and then
Yep.
look at Champ Anthony now, right? I mean,
Yep.
it looks like a whole different person after a year in the weight room at Auburn. So I don't really worry about that at all because, and again, man, we're going to say this every time a defensive back commits. I feel like I just trust the guys that we got back there making those decisions. What you're going to see here is kind of what you're seeing with a guy like Ty Buster down there on the O line out of North Carolina. Commits to Auburn, and boy, all them other schools start popping up. And Donovan, he did visit Clemson on June the 2nd, and Missouri and Tennessee were trying to get him in on OVs as well. So it's not like big schools all have been recruiting him. And I'm with you, man. When I watched the tape, the first thing I wrote down was ball skills, closing ability when the ball is coming into the receiver's hands. I mean, when that ball is close and when the receiver's about to make a play on it, Donovan just finds a way to get in there and to break it up. And also, and this is something that we'll kind of have to watch more of full games to really notice. But from what I could tell on the tape there, really pretty solid in the run game too, man. There's a couple of plays where he's getting off the blocks and making the play there, and he forced a fumble a couple of times. So, we saw in a guy like DJ James last year, you can have all the ball skills and you can be a great defensive back in the world. And when it comes time to get drafted, you're going to get drafted down there pretty low because I'm not trying to take shots, man, but you got to be able to stop the running game. You're still on defense. You still got to tackle the guy with the ball, and that will hurt you if you're not able to do that. So having that ability as well, just exciting, man, because I have our member pod prepared for tomorrow, and I have down Blake Woodby and Brody Scholl as the guys that I thought would probably be the next to commit. And then Donovan comes in today, or he came in Tuesday, but he leaves today. And the story is, I read this from On3, where he was leaving and he was talking to his mom, and he was like, "It just feels like home." And she said, "Well, baby, if you don't want to go nowhere else, call him and tell him you're committed." And that's what he did. And then he was asked about his visits, and he said, "I don't think I'm planning on taking any more visits." Wasn't 100% on that one, but he said, I think I'm done, man. I'm locked in here. So big time for Auburn. And now let's get over here and take a look at the rest of the class, Blake, because he is the third defensive back. We've got Dante Core out of Fort Walton Beach, recently committed. And who else? See, I'm forgetting the other name. We'll pull it up here in just a second. A little navigation. Oh, bear with me, guys. So I pull this off. All right.
There we go.
There we go. So we got, in the defensive backfield, we got Donovan Starr, Dante Core, and Devin Williams. Yeah, Devin committed a little while back. That's why I'm forgetting him. And these are the rankings according to Rivals, but you just kind of see it right there, Blake. And we know that we're trench heavy. Got a couple of linebackers committed. Now we're starting to fill out that secondary. Let's take this route first, man. What do you kind of want to see added to this class now?
As far as like the next commitment.
Yeah, well, let's just, I mean, maybe not the next commitment because, I mean, it could be Shoal and we have a
Yeah.
lineman. It might be Woodby and we got DBs, but let's just, we're heavy in certain positions here, right?
Yeah.
And we're heavy up front. We're starting to kind of fill out that secondary. You got a couple linebackers, but we're lacking in some spots.
I want to see a Walker White effect at the quarterback position. I want to see somebody step up and want to be at Auburn like Walker did. And I know that might be the easy answer or whatever, but it's the truth. It's Walker White is one of the guys that brought that class together last year. He's one of the guys that brought those receivers together. The Freeze Four. Go check out the YouTube channel. Cam Coleman, a day in the life of an NCAA athlete, all that good stuff. These guys they're awesome to watch, man. But Walker committed early and shut it down. He said, "Hey, it's Auburn. Like, I'm done. It's over. I'm going into my senior year. I'm playing, stress free, and then bang, I'm going to Auburn. That's it." Well, this isn't a knock against Juju or anything, but there's a lot of hype about, oh, Juju Lewis to Auburn, Juju Lewis to Auburn. It's Auburn USC. Well, now you're hearing all kind of stuff. It's he takes a trip to Indiana, Colorado's in the mix, and it's just like, is Juju really on the table, or the KJ Lacey smoke? Well, KJ Lacey's currently committed to Texas, so is that smoke true? So where are we at? Do we even get
Yeah.
a high school quarterback? Do we end up going to the portal, or what? Like, what is the plan? So if it was up to me, I would like to see a quarterback jump on board. Probably not going to happen, but just looking at it from me, I would like to see a quarterback jump on board, because I would love to see a KJ Lacey Walker White quarterback battle, or a Juju
Mm.
Lewis Walker White quarterback battle. I think that would be fun. I think it would be what Auburn needs. Obviously, you could go Caleb Cunningham and say, hey, for him to join Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, Malcolm Simmons, and Bryce Kane would be electric. But I think, for me, looking at what Walker did last year and bringing those receivers together and forming that class, I think that's what I would be looking for, Dustin.
Yeah, because if you go back to last year, we praised it the whole time, right? We were like, man, look
Yeah.
how important this is. And he had the list and he was wearing the sweater and
Yep.
it worked. It worked. We went 6 and 7 and still brought in the 7th ranked class and brought in the best wide receiver class that Auburn's ever brought in. So it worked. So I'm not going to sit here a year later and act like it's not important. And that's kind of why I was looking at Longstreet as the guy. I was like, man, if we can get Longstreet in here, and then you kind of go into the summer having him help you out. But A&M won that one straight up. I still believe Auburn would have took that commitment if it came. A&M just won the battle. Man, something about KJ Lacey. And I told you, before we hit record, I don't know how much longer Hugh Freeze is going to keep missing on people from Saraland. You had the Ryan Williams, you had Coleman committed, then he flipped back to Bama. Now he's coming back to Auburn for an OV. You got Derek Smith, the wide receiver, DB athlete out there, and then obviously KJ. I know how hard Auburn is recruiting Saraland. I know how much time they've spent into all the big programs in the state of Alabama. If he was able to break the Central Phoenix City curse, I don't see something like that even starting to gain traction at Saraland. So I'm just looking at KJ Lacey, and I'm wondering, man, if he's going to end up being the guy. And as far as Caleb Cunningham, Daniel, I pulled up, as Blake was talking about him, I pulled that up. Look, he left and he said, "Where's number one?" And this is not a prediction, okay? And I don't have a whole lot of intel on this, but other than what everybody's found out at this point. But it's a 5-star wide receiver, and he's from the state of Mississippi. Boy, this is a recipe that Hugh Freeze knows how to cook. That's all I'm saying. And then you got a kid that has 1,400 yards and 14 TDs last year. And you talk about tape that pops, Blake. I mean, bro, it's unreal. Caleb Cunningham is unreal.
And one little thing I'll say about that is I'm not saying he's, coming to Auburn, but usually the state of Mississippi's best players leave the state. They usually leave the state of Mississippi. Now, I know Lane kept the D lineman this year. He won that battle over us and everything, but
Franklin.
Yeah, majority of the time, Mississippi's best players leave the state of Mississippi and they come to the state of Alabama.
Hmm.
When I look at Mississippi State's roster, and I know they just got the quarterback, Jeff Lebby pulled one in there, and just I don't know, just Mississippi State doesn't pop to me when it comes to college football, Dustin. And I know he has connections and at state and all that, but if I think if I'm sitting here looking at it, I think Ole Miss is the bigger factor in all of this to me.
Oh yeah.
Like Lane Kiffin, what he's done there, that quarterback room at Ole Miss, even with Jackson Dart leaving, they still got some studs there. I think they play a bigger role than the traction Mississippi State's getting. Mississippi State's just got a ways to go, in my opinion. And I don't see Caleb Cunningham going there with the situation they're in right now, because it's going to take Jeff Lebby a little bit of time, man. Like that place was really dealt an unfortunate hand.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Caleb to Auburn, I like it. I like it. I really do. I think him, Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, like I said, the other two with Malcolm and Bryce. Who you covering?
Boy,
who you covering? You can't double. I mean, that'd be something fun to watch. And Walker White spinning the rock. That'd be fun, Dustin.
Yeah, and then Caleb talked about that too. He talked about how much fun he had hanging out with Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, Malcolm, all those guys. And you know what they're telling him? They're telling him, "Hey man, we're already the best class that Auburn's ever had at receiver. You come here, bro." And it starts to look like that NWO situation that they had going on over there at Ole Miss, man. And Hugh's going to build that. He's going to build it here at Auburn. Unless this thing, I'll just say it right now, unless this thing just falls apart with Hugh Freeze and everything goes south, Auburn's we're going to be in the top 10 in recruiting. That's just, we're going to live in this area. We're going to be in the conversations for the Cam Colemans and the Caleb Cunninghams and the Juju Lewises. It's what he does, man. And I think he's been in the game long enough for us to know that he pulled these classes at Ole Miss, so we shouldn't be surprised that he's pulling them at Auburn. And my question is just, what is it going to look like if we come out and go 8-4? If we come out and go 9-3, and all of a sudden he can sell, hey, all this stuff that I have been telling y'all that's been working. Oh, and by the way, we're on the right track now on the field. We're winning games. Like all of a sudden you're looking at really pushing into that top 5 territory. And you stack a couple of those up and you're making a 12-team playoff if you handle your business, man. Something else about these guys that kind of visited, like we mentioned, Brody Scholl and Blake Woodby. Brody Scholl, one of the top-ranked offensive tackles in the country. Looking at this offensive linemen that are already committed, and Spencer Dowland, Tavares Dice, one hell of a player. I love Cardi Smith's game. And then Ty Buster. Man, and I know I'm missing somebody else up there. But look, dude, Ty Buster, he had a quote that really, really popped to me when he visited this weekend. One, he said it kind of confirmed to him that he was locked 100% in, because he commits to Auburn, and all of a sudden these other SEC schools start knocking on the door, and he goes to camps, and his rating is really starting to rise. I think Ty Buster might be, when we look back at the end of this whole cycle, he might be the guy that rises the highest out of all of Auburn's commitment, or at least the guys that are committed right now. I think he's just going to consistently rise, man, when people watch him. There's just nothing about his game that I don't like. But the quote he had was, he said, "It's the realest staff that I've been around. There's no BS." He said, "They're just shooting it to me straight." And then he said, when I got away from the coaches and I got around the current offensive linemen on the team, they told me the same thing. And then I got to step back, Blake, and say, is that a culture change? That sounds like a culture change to me now. And that it's just hard for me not to get excited about that. So I just think a lot of good things happened last weekend. I think going to have some more good things happen this weekend. From everything that we're hearing, there's not even like, I don't know where else Blake would be the defensive back from Baltimore. Where else would he even commit to? Like, it just seems like it's all Auburn right now. And then I know that like Nebraska kind of got in the mix because they're doing a nice job recruiting for Brody Scholl. But I still, I still think that I think Auburn kind of I don't know. I wouldn't say Nebraska ever took the lead away from Auburn, but after the visit this weekend, it kind of seems like, hey, sooner than later, Scholl's going to join this class. And if he does that, then this is going to be the best offensive line class that Auburn's maybe ever put together, but definitely put together in my lifetime since I've been following it, man. And then Blake, I gotta to your quarterback point, like, don't you want to come stand behind this and have this protection and throw to these receivers? And let me ask you, Blake, did you see Alvin Henderson's tweet the other day?
What was that?
He put a clock and
I saw that.
We're back on it, buddy.
He's not going to Penn State. He's not. He's from a small town in Alabama, like Charlie Five said. He's not going to Penn State. You're not making mom go to Montgomery Airport or Birmingham or drive down to Mobile or wherever. All right. You're not making mama get on a plane and fly to Pennsylvania to watch you play. It's just not happening. I'm sorry. I think he was trolling and he was having fun with it. And now I think once he flips back or whenever he does it, he'll be locked in. I still think Alvin ends up at Auburn. It was weird. That whole little situation was really weird because it just the Twitter stuff just made it like kind of like really uncomfortable. I don't know if y'all got the same feeling, but it kind of felt like both sides were just kind of like, all right, why are we doing this? Like, what good comes out of this? Because we know you're not going to Penn State. Like, so what's going on here? You know, and so I get it. They're 16, 17 years old. You know, everybody was on the Ryan Williams case when he was doing it and all over TikTok and all the social media apps. It is what it is. Dustin, one thing that I'm excited about with this commitment list, Malik Autry. He sticks out to me. And the reason he sticks out to me is because of some things that have been flying around. And Naeem offered, said, hey, I want Malik Autry to come up to Buckeye Land. Well, we need Malik Autry to get Naeem offered on the Plains.
Right.
Gotta happen. Gotta happen. Is Auburn in the mix? Yeah. I'll believe it when I see it. Could it happen? I think it could happen. I think it could happen. I would love for it to happen, but we can't let that kid go to Ohio State, man. Well, like Hugh saying that he will not miss and he will grab him. That's a testament to me for how hard this staff's working, and we need Malik to do his best recruiting job. If they're tight like that, and Naeem Offord's wanting him up in Buckeye Land, well, we need him on the Plains. Tyler Lockhart, another one. Dustin, I think, look, you leaving the state of Mississippi, well, hey, Caleb Cunningham, let's follow. Let's follow. And Tyler Lockhart's going to be a heck of a player. I think that was a big pickup. What are we at? 12 commitments? 13? 12? 12. Seems a lot better than what Mr. Idaho used to do. And
he's still talking.
Well, look, that's for another day. All right, we could have a whole episode of how much this dude talks on Twitter.
We might have to do it. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, and you're attacking people like you're going at beat writers who used to take up for you and try to like salvage whatever image you had, and you're like attacking them. And I don't get it, man. You you gotta recruit, and Hugh Freeze is showing you that if you don't bust your tail on the trail, you're not gonna win. It's just the proof's in the pudding. If you don't go get guys like Carday Smith, you're not gonna win at all. And I know I hate making the comparisons all the time, but you look at Alabama's heyday. I know they had the great skill players and everything, but Dustin, they always had hellacious offensive lines. AJ McCarron is not the greatest quarterback to walk the face of the earth, but you best believe they had some studs on that offensive line. AJ was solid. He was solid. But their offensive line, dogs. Mark Ingram, he wasn't the best back. Just ran behind some dogs. They had the big uglies, man. Auburn's got to get back to that. I think they're doing it. And like you mentioned, Ty Buster finding just a gem like that before everybody else gets on him. That's just how hard they're working, Dustin.
Yeah, and I know that Dante Core has kind of that similar situation as Donovan Starr here, where they're not necessarily the highest rated. I mean, Starr he's a 4-star on 24/7. He's a 4-star composite, which means when you combine everybody's industry rankings, he's a 4-star. But you see right here, Rivals has him as a 3. On 3 has him as a 3-star. Let's see if these things hold up, because I'm going to trust Crime Dog when it comes to evaluations. And he's got a long history of doing it. I know that Auburn's going to have defensive backs that can do their thing. So it's just not something, and it's nice. It's not something I've had to worry about at Auburn for, it feels like a decade now. And you mentioned Malik Autry, and he's my favorite commitment on this list. And the day that he committed, I made the prediction that he would be a 5-star before it's all said and done. Put that on my Twitter, and he's got his 5th star from 24/7. And the reason that I made that prediction was because sometimes, man, tape looks different. Like, you can look at a player and say, this guy's solid and this, that, and the other. But like I said with Caleb Cunningham, it just pops off your screen. You're just like, wow, this looks a little bit different than the other ones we watch. Same thing with Malik, man. Like, he just has that explosiveness from that defensive tackle position. I'm not saying he'll be this, but he has that explosiveness from that defensive tackle position that Auburn has not had since Derek Brown. He does. He is a wrecking machine, bro. He wreaks havoc on quarterbacks, running backs. He lives in the backfield. And I can't wait to get up to Opelika this year and watch him play. I just think he's an absolute dog. I think he can play freshman year on the D-line. And I think that by year 2, I think you're looking at a guy that is really, really going to make some noise, man. I really don't see how that kid can miss. He's just a baller, bro. He's just an absolute stud. So really excited about that. And I'm with you. It's time to get some wide receivers in this class. Now you set yourself up to where when you had this great class last year, you can just kind of focus in on a couple guys. Okay. We're focusing on Caleb Cunningham. Auburn's at most going to sign 3. Probably they're just going to come in with 2 wide receivers this year because that's what the room dictates. But need some, we want to sign 2 running backs. We don't have 1 committed yet. So you got some work to do. You don't have any receivers committed yet. And I'm 100% with you on QB. So I like where this class is at. Y'all know me. I love beefing up this line of scrimmage. And I love the fact that we can look at it and say we're pretty much a recruitment or 2 away from kind of locking up both sides of the line of scrimmage. But still got to get those other skill positions, especially on offense, man, and kind of fill all that out. And when you mentioned Alford, and let's see what happens again if Auburn goes 8-4, 9-3. If you go 7-5, if you go 6-6, he's probably going to head up on it to Ohio State, man. But if you can sell him a vision of, hey, we're a little bit further along than you might have thought we were, he might stay home now.
Watch something to play into this too is Ohio State's got to beat Michigan this year.
Their fans have been vocal about that.
If Ohio State, Ryan Day is fighting for his job right now, and this is his most athletic team on paper since he's been at Ohio State. Now, quote, I said on paper. All right. 2 years ago, he was a missed field goal away from winning a national championship. So he's got to beat Michigan this year. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. All right. He's got to go. This is the year. So you're telling me if they just say they lose to Michigan, Orgy steps in at quarterback, they have a great year. They beat Ohio State. Naeem Offord's going to Ohio State and Ryan Day's no longer the coach. I think about stuff like that is like, is he really going 12, 13 hours away from home and Ryan Day loses his job? And I don't see it happening, man. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, Ohio State's a heck of a place to play defensive back. Obviously, Caleb Downs went up there in the transfer portal, got a bag. I don't know. A long way to go. But
Yeah.
Offord,
Win some games, man. Win
Yeah.
some games, make them think. Let's get over here and talk to some of these comments, see what y'all got going on. Brett says Blake making bag money to drop on them 5 stars. Blake contributing to the baseball team, bro. Blake trying to buy some pitchers.
I'm trying to get my wife's cousin, Jayla Lassiter, transfer portal from Ole Miss, center fielder for the softball team up there. She entered the portal, and I want her at Auburn so bad. Heck of a player. So, man, I wish that could happen. I mean, it would be super clutch. She's a heck of a talent. So
yeah, for sure. Definitely got some interesting stuff going on with that softball program. We'll talk about that. Got all summer to get on that one. That was a husband and a wife, man. I'm not knocking it. I just, I wasn't aware, and I don't know a whole lot about what goes on outside of Auburn when it comes to softball. So that one just kind of caught me off guard. Definitely interesting. Connie's here. We appreciate you. Jacob is here. Karen accepted the challenge and said 5. Yeah. I got that. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it. So for some of y'all that are getting the new memberships, we're going to do that pod tomorrow. We're going to take a look at this film, talk about these recruits, man. It'll be a good time. And I am still working on doing I know I told y'all guys like a month ago, going to do the history stuff where we go back and look at some of the old teams. I'm just trying to put it together. And I want it to look good and I want it to look right? I don't want to just throw it together a lot. It's something that I'm trying to have looking nice for you guys, but stay on the lookout for that. Karen, thank you. If somebody else wants to get 5 more and get us up to 10, you're more than welcome. Karen, appreciate you accepting the challenge. Daniel says NCAA to allow sponsor logo ads on the fields, and Twitter is going nuts already with the Yellowwood edits, bro. We might be doing the Boise, but we might have a yellow field, they say, Blake.
Bro, I just want him the one of him riding horseback. All right. Just put that out just stretch it from like the 40 to the 20, just him riding horseback. All right. Like, love that. That would be so sick. But I saw it a while ago. I saw one, it was like a guy holding it was like him holding a plaque, and it was like the NCAA is trash, and they were like, put that on the 25. I was just like, I mean, it's true. The NCAA terrible.
It's hard to argue. You know how like the hockey games and basketball games, they put all the stuff on the court, like on the floor with the designs and all that. Maybe we could have Yellowwood ride the horse from end zone to end zone.
Shot.
Maybe so. And then maybe he's holding a money bag and he drops it off to a recruit, but then commits right there.
Hey, love it.
Because I don't know what the rules are now, bro. Is that illegal anymore? Who knows?
There are no rules.
There's no governing body, apparently. Just do what you want to do. Auburn Dad says if we don't get Juju, we may not get a QB this year. I think it was Pinkston who I saw was kind of saying, hey, this is this is definitely a possibility because of Walker White. I just don't like it. But I also know that like you have a board and Auburn doesn't want to go really far down that board just to sign a quarterback. I could respect that, but you're definitely probably gonna have to add 2 guys in the portal if you come up to that. So I don't know, man. We're gonna have a recruiting guy on next week. Gonna have a national recruiting guy on next week. Stay on the lookout for that. And we're definitely gonna ask about this quarterback situation and try to get some answers because it's gonna be the one to follow, man. Brad is here. He says, I'm late, but I made it. Carmack says, gotta be a dude with a name like Ty Buster. Listen, he's 295 pounds. He's massive. He's super athletic. He's physical. He's got great technique, and he's nasty. I'm telling you, man, like it's when I see a guy that's athletic, physical, and has that mentality, like super strong, I'm like check box, check box, check box, check. You know, I'm telling you, I'm really, really high on him, and he is definitely a dude. And he will go 5 or 50, 60 yards down the field and clean somebody's clock. And I kind of when I see you doing that like 15 times on your 10, I'm like, I think you just like to hit people, bro. I think you just like contact, and that's exactly how I want my offensive lineman. Nasty as hell, bro.
Yep.
Chris, my guy, bro, always
Accept.
coming in the clutch. Always coming in the clutch. I just had to mention it. All I had to do was mention it, and y'all made it happen, man. You guys are the best. I can't even keep up with the chat, Blake. This thing is absolutely popping over here. Carmack says the first rule is there are no rules. Yeah, man, these court cases are making it they're definitely making it interesting, man. And we are going to do some episodes here soon where we kind of talk about just the future of college football, where this thing lands. And Blake, I kind of want to talk about this tonight. I wanted to ask you this. I know that in Florida here, they just passed NIL for high school. And
really,
yes, they just passed NIL for high school in Florida. And I've actually talked to 2 prospects, 2 guys that are being recruited heavily by SEC or ACC schools. And they were both really excited about it, you know, the same way that I would have been if I was a senior in high school and all that. Here's my question, because I'm already seeing it. I've seen several posts this week from kids, sophomores in high school, that are saying, hey, thankful for my time at high school A. Want to thank all my teachers and my teammates and my coaches, but I'm transferring to high school B for the next 2 to 3 years. And I'm 15 sending this tweet out, man. 15. And here's the question that I have with this. In 10 years, if we keep going down this path, we might have bad football from high school, college, all the way to the pros. I think development's going to take a hit. Am I crazy for thinking this, man? You got high schoolers transferring high schools 2-3 times because the NFL coaches, Blake, have already said, y'all are sending them to us from college and they don't know shit that they need to know. Now we're transferring high schools 3 times in 4 years. Man, it could be trouble, dude.
It goes on here in Alabama. I mean, I ain't naming any high school.
There's some schools in your area, bro, that got some stuff going on right now.
Boy, stadiums look like they're college, like crazy. Yeah, it goes on here. Now the NIL stuff, I don't know if that'll pass in the state of Alabama. We're still rocking like it's freaking 1971 over here. But you know, hey, just whatever you got to do until all of this stuff gets settled with the NCAA or whatever they're going to do, where you can pay whoever or whatever the no rules are, however it's ending up. Just give us a lottery, all right, so we can compete in baseball. So, I mean, that's all we're really asking right now is just let's move forward. And I saw one of the comments about Auburn baseball. We did pick up a commitment. I can do a members pod and talk a little bit about him. The Steele kid from Sanford, a heck of a player. He can play multiple positions, all that good stuff. I'll break all that stuff down for you guys. And I think that was a big pickup for Butch. So.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of interesting stuff going on the baseball diamond as well. A lot of rumors flying over there. So, yeah, Blake will pump out some baseball stuff for y'all soon. We're going to have some basketball stuff come out soon because I think our roster's set now. We know what we're looking at there. Saw that the kid from Georgia Tech got on campus today. So, a lot of stuff going on to talk about there. Let's do this, Blake, before we get out of here, man. Y'all hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Me and you were talking about it off air. So, I'm going to ask you on air. And I want y'all's thoughts here in the comments. We go back and we look at these certain schools like Phoenix City, and we say, man, it was the curse. You know, it was the curse. We could never get a guy. And then we end up getting the best prospect to come out of Phoenix City in a long time to break the curse. We got 3 guys right now from Saraland: KJ Lacey, Antonio Coleman, who was briefly committed to Auburn, and Derek Smith, who Auburn was still pursuing very heavily. But there was a time when this was a guy you were hearing like, this is the wide receiver that they want. They want him bad. And I told you, man, I think like we get one of these kids. I don't know which one, but my line of thinking here is Hugh Freeze is not going to keep missing on kids from a high school like Saraland.
Yeah.
They've got so many studs there, and me and you know just how hard he invested time trying to get Ryan Williams from there.
Facts.
Now it didn't work, but it wasn't because that man didn't try, and it wasn't because this program didn't try. You're the Mobile guy, Blake. Are we going to keep missing on kids from Saraland? I just don't see it. One of these kids has to come to Auburn, man.
One thing I'll say here is it's mighty funny to me that Antonio Coleman come out when he flipped back to Alabama and said, I'm 1,000% committed. Alabama can develop me better than Auburn can, and this is where I want to be. But now you're taking a visit back to Auburn. That to me, you can say, oh, well, he's just going on a visit and he's taking a free trip and all this. Look, you go to the same place over and over and over again. I mean, look, I think there's more to it with him continuing to come back to Auburn. Why keep going? If you're 1,000% committed to Alabama, why keep going? There's still something there. So could it be him? Could it be KJ Lacey? The KJ Lacey thing, I brought it up a couple weeks ago. I think it's always been there, and he is really, really starting to feel Auburn. I think Auburn's always felt him. I think that there's a real connection there. Once again, kids committed to Texas. Alabama kid. Do you want to go all the way to Austin? I know they're in the SEC now. I get it. SEC program, Sark, that offense. Man, the receivers that Hugh's bringing in, the offense, you can go right up there to the Plains, 3.5 hours away from home. You're right there. I don't know. I like the KJ Lacey thing. I don't think Hugh's going to keep missing. I don't. I don't want to come out and say that KJ Lacey is going to be in this class because I don't know, but I don't think Hugh's going to keep missing. I like the KJ Lacey heat. I think he's a heck of a player. And before you say the only reason he was good is because of Ryan Williams, that's false. That's false.
Yeah, definitely false.
Dude went up to look. All I've heard from people out of Mobile is, man, I don't know why y'all are so high on KJ Lacey. I don't know why you're so high on KJ Lacey. He's only good because he had Ryan Williams. Well, guess what? Bro went up to Enterprise in the spring game and shredded them and said, hey, look, dart. Look Bryce Young like, all right? The way he maneuvered the pocket, the throws, I mean, kid's got a feel, man. He's already got the internal clock. He's impressive. Can make every throw on the field. I just don't see Hugh. I don't see him continuing to miss at Saraland. And I'm gonna stick with my guy KJ Lacey. I think he's better than the people around here in Mobile give him. Because it's not all Ryan Williams. Some of that's KJ Lacey, man.
Yeah.
Dude, if anybody else is at the 1 yard line in that state championship game, KJ probably gets in. All right. KJ probably gets in and they win it. They go back to back. Instead, you had an animal waiting on you in DJ Barber. And tough break. So I like KJ, man. I think he's a heck of a player.
Yeah, and that was definitely an interesting play call, an interesting situation. And but like you said, man, DJ Barber, you meet him head up. And I agree with you with KJ as far as just the way he looks, bro. Like, it just looks so fluid and smooth, and it just his lower body. I watched those highlights for the spring game with Enterprise a couple times, and he had that rollout touchdown that he threw to the left side, and just everything, shoulder square with his, with his lower body as he's rolling. It just looks really impressive, man. So I don't know what the people are watching up there that are hating on KJ. I think the kid's a stud. I think though, you think that it's probably the Saraland thing, right? People are looking at it and saying he's on such a good program. He's got dudes all around him. It's easy to be the quarterback here.
Well, he got investigated 2 years ago because his family moved from Daphne to Saraland, and they had like a whole investigation. They were trying to make Saraland like forfeit playoff games because Saraland was beating people 60-0. All right. And so they were just, oh, it's not fair. Well, look, don't knock the kid. All right. I think he's a stud. I think he's a heck of a player. Go just watch his 7-on-7 stuff. Dude's flying to Orlando. He's flying out to LA. He's flying all over the country, playing with some cats. He ain't doing that because of Ryan Williams. He's doing it because he's talented. So I'm big on KJ.
Yeah, and that's a well-coached program too. So you're getting a guy that's probably further along in development than a lot of guys would be otherwise. Come out of programs like that, that tends to be the case. So I like that a lot. Pop's got a membership tonight. Let's go. The gift of memberships fell on Pops. Pop says the McDonald's bags don't work anymore. Ask Tennessee. No, McDonald's bags are not working anymore because the courts have now said that the schools are allowed to pay the players. I don't even know if On to Victory is going to exist in 2 years. If they do, it's going to be obviously operating a lot different way, and the school's going to kind of use them as an extension, as an arm to just kind of like help them do the payments and everything. But it's fundamentally, it's going to look a lot different. You're going to see contracts soon. You're going to see unions soon. Like, this sport is really going to change. And I think a lot of it's kind of up in the air. I think that it can go a certain way to where, like Josh Pate always uses this example, right? Josh Pate always says, when it's 3rd and 3 and your team has to get the stop on 3rd down, how much do you care about all the other stuff going on, and do you watch it? And that's a great point. And right now, we're all still watching, right? I mean, there's 50, 60 of y'all in here right now in June talking about recruiting. So like, we're going to watch, right? But I've used a NASCAR point before. There was a time when Talladega had 200,000 people in them seats, and it cost money to get that ticket. And if you didn't get it quick enough, you just weren't getting one. There was a time when I stayed up till 9:30 every night, really till 12:30. 9:30 was tip off, to watch my Lakers that are no longer my Lakers. What happened? I'm not gonna lie and say that the Kobe thing didn't have something to do with it, but I still watched after Kobe retired. A lot of it was the sport kind of changed. I don't like what the NBA has become. It's unwatchable to me. It's a freaking free throw contest. You blow the whistle down here, you shoot your free throws. You come down here, if a fan tells a player that he sucks, he gets kicked out of the game and barred forever and called every possible thing in the world. And whatever LeBron James says is what the NBA implements, and in-season tournaments and all this kind of stuff. And I say all that just to say, man, like, I was diehard now. Like, I had League Pass so I could watch the Lakers. Paid my money every month to watch the Lakers. And I threw my hands up with it in 2020, and I said, nope, I'm not doing this. I hate what the game's become. I hate what these players are starting to stand for. I can't do it. I'm out. And there was a time when my pops is in here. He'll tell you that I was never could have imagined me kicking the Lakers to the curb. And like, it'll take a whole lot more for Auburn, right? But the point I'm making is, for college football as a whole, it's going to be up in the air, man. They're going to have a whole lot of decisions that they're going to have to make. What way do they go with them? I know that it's a whole bunch of people that are looking at money signs, but if they get so focused on the money that the sport loses its soul, then you're not going to make any money. It's still got to be college football. I don't know where it lands. I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to survive, because so last year, driving up to Auburn, even for the Ole Miss game, not thinking we were going to win. I still get that kid feeling, dude. I still get that little kid feeling when I get off the exit and go and get to Auburn. Like, hey, let's go, man. I got that nervous feeling in my gut. You know, I feel like me, my brother, my dad back in the day going to the games. I still get that joy of it's game day in Auburn. And I know that's all across the country, especially here in the South. So what happens? Where does this sport go? We could do a lot of episodes just on that. And I know that everybody has a whole lot of thoughts. So I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous. I don't know. You know, I'm not doomsday, but I'm not optimistic either. I just don't know, Blake, where all this kind of lands, man. I just hope, dude, that we keep the soul intact. I know the sport's changing. I know it's changing, but I hope that we still keep that, at least that feeling of when you pull up to the game, you still kind of got that 13-year-old you inside of you comes out. I hope we don't lose that, man.
Yeah, look, I think I don't think anybody knows where it's headed because it's happening on the fly. Like, it's just happening. We got to have a. I know. Look, Nick Saban's gone and everything, but I think he could save college football in the direction that it's headed. I think he would be a great voice for some kind of board or anything like that that they could come up with because look, it's out of control right now. And now Dustin's saying that you can go into high school and make money, and I'm sure more states have done that, and California's probably going to do it, and all that good stuff. But it's wild. Like the stuff's out of control, and I'm a huge fan of NIL. I think it's great. I've voiced my opinion on it 1,000 times. I think NIL is something that should have been around years ago. Back in 2012, I was in college and I wrote a paper. We got to freelance a little bit, and professor said, "Hey, you can write anything you want." And I said, "Okay, cool." I said, "I'm about to write a paper, Dustin, that college athletes deserve to get paid." That paper didn't go over too well. All right, and it was very weird back then, and now looking 10 years ahead, 12 years ahead. College athletes are getting paid, and these universities are making millions and millions and millions of dollars. But you're asking these collectives and people, from the outside, like fans, to donate and all of this stuff. Like we got to hone it in, man. We got to figure something out. Like it's bizarre that you're asking these people, oh well, if you pay $40 a month, you get a signed autograph.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I already spent $250 to sit on the 50-yard line to watch New Mexico. So what are you talking about? I got to pay $40 a month to get a postcard from our running back. Like we gotta hone it in. We gotta do something. But like the universities are really, y'all. I brought up that paper because these folks they do not want it. Like folks do not agree with college athletes getting paid, and we gotta figure out a happy medium. Like we gotta get to a happy place, get all of this to work because it's crazy, man. And like the NBA thing. I'm with you. Like I used to be diehard. I was diehard NBA. I loved the sport. I thought it was awesome. And then it just kind of like the whole bubble thing. It just like the competition, like it just went nowhere. And then like you said, the fouling, no traveling. The competition just went down, and I think some of that is because you're allowing dudes to go to play in Australia straight out of high school and then go to the NBA, and you're allowing kids like Jalen Green to not go to college and go to the G League, and it's just watering down the talent in the league. Like we gotta figure things out, man. Like Carmelo Anthony had to go to college. Like put the kids in college. We got to come together and make something happen to get all of this right, man. It's not just college football. It's college softball. Coastal Carolina's coach, he voiced his opinion on it the other day. He was like, how is it fair for me when just say Clemson baseball is getting $5 million in NIL and I'm getting $500K? How do I compete with that? My opinion on that is, I know a lot of people disagree with this, but I think it's time that we separate uh, the G5 from the P5 or P4 or whatever you want to call it now.
Mhm.
I think it's time. I think it's time we got to separate. If it's not going to be a fair playing field, then we got to separate it, dog. Like if you're just going to be able to smash on these cats and like that, like you get 6 million and they get 30 million, it's just, we got to figure something out, Dustin.
Yeah, and then because everything's up in the air, they're a program, and Auburn just won a golf national championship. And with this current
And
ruling and the way things currently sit, is that going to become a club sport in a couple of years? Because is Auburn going to have to take all the money that they make as an athletic department to pay the football players to be competitive on the SEC landscape? There's a lot of questions, man, and like I said, I don't know. I don't know where we land, but I'm comfortable speaking for Blake on this one. Man, when that Saturday, when we wake up, that TV is on from 9 in the morning until midnight, 1 o'clock at, like it's going, bro. We're watching ball all day. And if Appalachian State and Troy are locked in a tight battle, I might watch that. I might watch that second half, man. Like, I don't care. I love college football more than any other sport, and it's not even close. So I just want to see it healthy. I want to see it survive, and I want to be able to tell the difference. Like, I watch football in the fall all weekend. Going to go to a game Friday night. Going to watch it all day Saturday. Going to watch it from noon till 10 o'clock at night on Sunday. I'm going to watch it all damn day, okay? It's what I'm going to do. Yep. So I want the sport to be in the best place, and I want to be able to tell the difference, bro. Because Friday night still feels like Friday night. Okay. Last year, I had the most fun in football season on Friday nights because, one, kids aren't getting kicked out of the game for hitting hard, especially in Alabama, bro. Like, you still are allowed to hit. Okay. That Baker, the first game we went to of the year, Baker versus who did they play? It was the other Mobile school. The red and black team starts with a T.
Sure.
Yeah, bro. They were thumping. That was one of the hardest hitting games that I watched all year. They were just straight thumping. But it feels like Friday nights. I want Saturday to feel like Saturday, and then I want Sunday to feel like Sunday. I don't want Saturdays to start feeling just like Sundays, man. So a lot of questions. We definitely got all summer to talk about them. We're going to have on some guys from different teams, different beat writers from different teams to kind of talk about the situations, like our guy Thomas Dunn from Cal. We're going to have him on here pretty soon and talk about just, hey, man, how is Cal going to survive in the ACC out there? Like, how is this even going to work? And how does your fan base feel about it? So college football is definitely in a unique place, man. A lot of good stuff tonight, man. We started off with recruiting, kind of ended on that note. Very, very good conversation here. Love y'all, man. Appreciate all of y'all for joining. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. We are 300 subs away from 2,000, bro.
Let's go.
300 subs away from 2K. I would like to get there before August 1st if we can do it. If we can do that, man, share this thing out. Like I said, share it on social media. If you got some friends that like Auburn that don't know about us, tell them, yeah, these two guys right here, they know ball, baby. They know what they're talking about. And like I said, next week, man, we're going to have a very big time guest on, and we're excited about that for our members. Once we get that, like the time and the date on that finalized, I'll let you guys know. And then y'all can get us some questions, and we'll definitely ask our guy those questions for you. Yeah, I just appreciate all y'all, man. Good stuff tonight. Super, super excited about the new addition to the squad. And go over to the warreportshop.com, and you will find that shirt that Blake is currently wearing. Buy you one of those. Thing looks good. And that's all I got tonight, man.
Look, I'll end it with this. War Damn Eagle. It's going to be a fun year. And you brought up Talladega. And all I can think about is that going with the stogie and another light and having a great year. PT till we die. We love it. War Damn Eagle. I'm out of here.
Yes, sir. War Damn. We'll catch you on the next one. We're out, y'all.